pitch when everybody was dancing at the wedding. I forgot the name of it.
Everybody, I move your feet
You know,
and feel united. I know it's not it.
nah, that wasn't it. It was
I know it's
it
not.
was another song.
Ooh.
But that's another one too. Like when you listen to it, it just makes you feel good, puts you in a good mood.
It puts you in the game. Yo, welcome. This is supposed to be a Voice of Reason episode, but this is going to be a little different. I got one of my good friends here, also the co-creator of PlayStation podcast here, and I asked him to come up on the show to get his feedback. He didn't see all of the state of play, but we are going to definitely talk about it. We have three subjects here, um, and we are going to get into it. Ooh la la. Ooh la la. So, first up subject, as you can see at the bottom left hand side of the screen, Returnal reviews, right? We have the state of play, and then we have why games are $70. Let's go. What's going on, Magnificent Black? Real quick one, real quick, real light. So, let's begin.
What's good, Magnificent Black, yo?
We
What's
got
goody?
we got 4 minutes apiece to talk about this sit. And I'm gonna let you go first. Ken,
Oh man,
that is honorable. What do you have to say about these reviews? Most of them are good. Some of them are like really salty about it being a difficult game. Like what?
you know, and just real quick, man, I gotta give myself for that name. The dishonorable just sounds good, man. But anyway, um,
I'm stop playing. It
yeah,
does. It does. I told you it does. I did.
but that shit sounds lit. But okay, so the reviews. Um, yeah, man, mostly good reviews, man. I am very happy with the reception that Returnal's been getting, man.
Does it
It's mostly
please you
positive,
in
which
your
is great.
does it please you in your pelvis area?
It yeah, it pleases me in my rectum. You know what I'm saying?
Rectum. Hold on, wait a minute, nigga. The fuck? Nigga say rectum.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Okay, let's
yep.
checking that
Right
for you,
in my
boss.
yeah, right in my pelvic area.
Right in your
But yeah,
pelvic
man,
area. Right in your llama bean.
yeah, right in the line with me. Yeah. Inside joke. But yeah, man, I'm glad. I'm actually glad because for a few different reasons. One, you know, obviously the game is getting good reception from pretty much everybody, journalists and gamers alike, right? But also because Housemarque is a smaller studio, and this was kind of like their first really big opportunity to make a big like AAA game. Risky at that. They even I don't know if you saw it, but they had that thank you letter where they basically talked about how they were thankful for Sony allowing them to make a pretty risky and ambitious game. So, I like the fact that the game so far is getting the good reception and it's successful in that way so far. Um, but also because it's a new IP, like new IP, they usually don't. Uh, it's hard for them to really catch good ground, you know. So the fact that the game is getting so much good reception is in my opinion, really awesome. Although obviously we have some people who were pretty salty about, the good reception that the game is getting. And we all know who it is, man.
You
You know,
know what
but
you know who
and they
you
never.
are.
Yeah, you know what kills me, man, is see, I don't mind it when somebody has like a critical viewpoint on something, because obviously everybody's different. Not everybody's gonna like the same shit, but um, if you just don't have like a good, compelling argument to why the game isn't good, then that to me is not cool. Like the whole thing with Jeff Grubb, like he literally had no good reason as to why he reviewed the game the way he did, you know.
No, he did.
So I don't know.
He did.
Well, you know what I mean. Like he didn't have.
He said it was too hard.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like that motherfucker, man. This this nigga said he said you got to get better at the game. It's an L. What? That
Like what are
doesn't
you
make
like?
any sense,
What
man.
are you? What are
Whatever,
we
man.
doing here? Like you know what I mean? Like what is this? Um, so my take is
That
the same.
makes absolutely no sense.
And my take is the same way, right? So first and foremost, listen, I'm so I knew it was going to be around 85 to 88. I knew that much. Um, and I'll talk about that in just a second because we're not going to go straight into state of play. We're going to talk about the $70 and the reason why it's $70. But I'm reading the reviews. I've watched a lot of the reviews, um, video wise, and the takeaway from this is that it's a rogue experience. It takes all of their expertise and that rogue light, and that type of games that they kind of specialize in, and it kind of makes it mainstream. You know what I mean? I know I wouldn't have been interested in it if it was like a 2.5D. You know what I mean? Um,
That shit.
a lot of people don't understand that this game is a lot more expensive than what it is, and it's a lot more thought has gone into it. And now I got a lot of information. So first and foremost, they handcrafted puzzle pieces of the environment, right? And the game will randomize it. Now that's deliberate because they want you to at least kind of understand the geometry of the environment. They want you to kind of remember how, mostly the layout and how it is on top of it instead of being completely random. They want you to understand that. So that was by design, but also they wanted to keep it fresh as well. You know what I'm saying? So that was a big thing to make sure that they keep it fresh. So if you could think of it, right, it's like you have a hallway, a bathroom, a kitchen, and a bedroom, and that gets randomly shuffled, you know, and when you die, because you do die, there's acts. Apparently, the game is divided into acts as well. So if you hit, I would say half the game, then you know from the half the game onwards will be your saving point. But for when you first get the game, you have to work up to half the game, or else when you die, you have to go all the way back to the beginning. And you'll keep just the keys and certain things that helps you to progress within the environment, which is cool. But going back to what I was saying, that element is randomized. The kitchen still looks the same, but that's randomized. So if you do die, when you do die, from my understanding, you definitely go back, and it'll add a freshness to you dying and restarting. That's what it's designed to do. Visually refreshes your mind because you will be going back a lot. Now, from what I hear, the beginning of the game, first couple acts are definitely, when it comes to Returnal, they're a little easier. It's the second half of the game, which the game is supposedly about 20 to 30 hours, which I didn't understand with the
That's
randomly generated environments. I was like, how the fuck they gonna pull that off? Now I understand why. It's not as random as you would think. It's designed that way so it'll just refresh, so it won't get stale when you do die and have to come back. But apparently the game is 20 to 30 hours, and the other half of the game is hard as hell, but not hard to the point where you don't know what the fuck. Like, I don't know how to do it. It's not like a trial and error hard. It's a you basically it's difficult, but you clearly know
like
why
skill
you
based.
failed. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, I hate to make the comparison, man, but but it like with the Souls games, like
well,
there's
it is
a
what it is.
certain level to. Yeah, I mean, you have like the more you play it, the more you learn the characters and everything, the better you get at like sort of dissecting how to approach situations and stuff like that until you succeed. So that's what it
But
seems like.
I like the fact that um you can clearly can see where you failed at, and maybe you just weren't quick enough to dodge that bullet or whatever the case is, which is what I like. And before we move on to the second topic, can we just talk about the graphics though? I didn't know it was on Unreal. I had no idea. I had no idea it was
Are you
on
serious?
Unreal. Yeah, it's Unreal. Yep.
Oh shit, I didn't even know that.
I didn't know either. Um, but
I want to say one thing about the game before you move on. Um, because you mentioned that the procedural, it's randomly generated.
mm-hmm.
It kind of adds like a familiarity to, to the area. So I mean, it's different, but it's not completely different. So you still kind of like get the opportunity to go through like once you die, you can still like learn how to figure the shit out. You know what I'm saying? So there's still like a bit of familiarity, to the environments and stuff like that. You
It's
know,
designed that way. It's
and
designed that way. It's not meant to be completely random where you're like, what the fuck is going on? It's
yeah,
designed
exactly.
again to keep it fresh.
And you know what else is cool, man? Like, and this is the last thing I wanted to say about the game. The fact that they're taking the approach that they are with the roguelike elements. Um, I feel like it's gonna really have like a cool like cult following with the game because I think even after like you finish the story, it just makes the game interesting. The fact that it's just randomly generated.
I heard
You'll
that you
have
can go
people
back
doing
too.
like
I
different
heard that you can
challenges
go
and stuff.
back and clear things out. And one of the things, because we got to move on, um, you can go underwater. I didn't know that either. I didn't know. But the thing about the game, and one of my friends is going to be completely elated with this information. The game is a lot like the Doom series, where you know how they say you have to keep moving, and that's almost like a bullet hell in itself. So you can think of it that way. But the penalty for fucking up is you just have to get better at it, and you will get better at it because it's not cheap. You know how you fell. You know why you fell. You know what I mean? It's just that
Yeah.
the stakes are so much higher, so much higher. You just you can't fuck up. You have to be on point. I feel like I like that. I like that, and I can't wait to play it later on tonight. I cannot wait to play it. Like I normally stream like a whole bunch of games. I will not be doing that tonight at all. I'll be stuck on this shit until I
I,
go to bed. Um, moving on
I
to the next
fucking agree
subject,
with
we're
you.
going to skip over the state of play because we'll talk about that later. What I do want to talk about is why are games $70? I've seen a lot of bullshit online about how people say that I don't know if it's worth $70. We're talking about Returnal, and I was looking at a whole bunch of different podcasts, and when the games were $60, right? The reason why the games moved to $60, yes, the price for making games inflated, but don't forget GameStop was huge, and guess what was happening? When people took their game back and sold it, and then other people bought the used games, the creator and publisher didn't get anything out of it. So there was an evolution, an adaptation, if you will, uh, to circumvent this, and that was called microtransactions. That's what started microtransactions. And now, because you have a lot of different services and people are buying shit digitally, and then games are just more fucking expensive. I mean, look at Ratchet and Clank today, which we'll talk about. It's nothing short of a fucking Pixar movie. They don't even need to have offline renderers if they're going to look like that on my PlayStation 5. That makes no fucking sense. But before we even go into that, this is the reason why games need to be $70. At first, I was completely against that. And I'm not shilling for it. It doesn't matter what console it is. But these people put in hard work. They put in a lot of work to make these games. And there's an equivalency with this one. You get a lot of work, you put in a lot of work, you get a lot of quality, and vice versa. If you don't put the work in, then it's not going to look that great. It's just flat out point blank. That's what it is. But I see people champion Game Pass, and yes, David Jaffe is loud online. He's so
Yo,
fucking
this dude,
loud, and
man.
I was like, you nigga, you got stocks in that bitch? I don't get it. You would think that this bitch
He's
have
nuts.
stocks because it doesn't make any sense. Um, and this is one of the problems why people think that like if you put Game Pass in the fray and that becomes quote unquote successful, then you're going to basically encourage microtransactions because they're just not going to make their money. When I was looking at their earnings for Sony and PlayStation 5, a lot of their money came from microtransactions, and then 50% of Fortnite comes from the Sony consoles. You know what I'm saying? So and it's all microtransactions. That's a free to play game. If you didn't know, it's like it's crazy. It's crazy. This is why I'm so against that model. I'm so against that model. When I see developers talking about that shit, not every I don't mind Game Pass. My problem is don't put you can't put everything in there because not everything will survive on Game Pass. Point blank, it just won't. What's your thoughts on it, Ken?
Personally, man, when they had announced that games were going to be $70, I can't necessarily say that I was particularly against it because in my opinion, I always kind of had like this mindset that um, Sony, what they're trying to do is, do what they've always done, right? And bring high quality games. And I mean, big blockbuster, expensive games too. At that, the type of games that people really want to play. You know what I'm saying? And they had a lot of rhetoric surrounding how they were trying to, like restructure everything so that way they can continue to, you know, like focus on these big like blockbuster games. So, I mean, in my opinion, I always sort of felt like, that's really what they were trying to do. And the $70 thing, man, to me was just more like, in my opinion, it was just an evolution to that model. You know what I'm saying? Like, if people really want to continue to get those same like high quality games, like you can't like something's got to give. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't expect to continue to like get those same like high quality like blockbuster whatever type games, right?
Right.
Without like money, like more money going into it. Like, it is what it is, man. You know. And honestly, I even have like, don't get me wrong, man. Like $70 is still $70, but you know, in my opinion, the way that I look at it is, as long as they're taking that $70 and putting it back into making the games as as great as they possibly can, which obviously we're seeing sort of like the fruit, at least a little bit. You know what I'm saying, of those investments. Then I absolutely have no problem with it, man. The only time that I feel like I would have a like a major issue with it is if they stop, continuing to like bring like those evolutionary like upgrades to their games or whatever, you know. So I mean, in my opinion, it was pretty inevitable in my opinion, because they're going to continue to make those type of games. And I don't know, I feel like a lot of people are kind of focusing on the wrong thing. It's like a lot of people are like, why aren't you fighting back for the $70 games? It's like, well, because I want big blockbuster games. In my opinion, the question is not really so much why are we not fighting against it. It's more like, is Sony going to continue to, invest more heavily into their like portfolio of games, to bring us even better experiences.
Well, the funny
So
thing
that's kind of
is,
how I look at it.
David Jaffe mentions this too, which he that angers me because he's a part of the industry. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, what are you doing? I get that you want to make calling all cars. I get that you want to make small games like Drawn to Death. But some people want to really make high quality experiences. You know what I'm saying? And hell, those games, calling all cars and Drawn to Death. I am not buying a $500 system to play that game. I'm not. That doesn't make any fucking sense. It doesn't. It doesn't.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like what? Like what? You know? Who would do that? It's just to me, it's just like he's like, and then I saw one of the videos. I'm not champion, Game Pass. I'm not doing that. I'm not a fanboy. I got both consoles. Just because you got both consoles don't mean that you're not a fanboy. That doesn't
Is
mean
that
that.
really what he said?
Yeah, he said that.
Because I
He
don't
says,
listen
I
to
like the
David
motto
Jaffe
of
like that.
Game Pass. Not Game Pass. It doesn't matter who does it. It could be Lumina or Luma. It could be, or whatever the fuck Amazon is doing, whatever the fuck it is. He was like, it could be PlayStation Plus. And once Sony gets their fucking head out their ass, then I think that Sony has some potential to do. Dude, no.
I know. Why are we looking back for, man?
You
I
know what
don't
I'm saying?
understand that,
No,
man.
because again, if you want to make calling out cars all fucking day, just keep shrinking the current generation consoles to like fucking almost a phone size, and You know, just don't even bother with next generation. We it's like the movie
You're
industry
a
doesn't
fucking
even
mobile
change.
developer,
You
yo.
know what I'm saying? It's like the movie industry stakes to the fucking black and white and animatronics. You know what I'm saying? And just
Did
keep
you
the
hear what I
movies
said?
fucking low, huh? What are you saying?
I said just make mobile games.
But that's what it seems like to me. Like it's like it's almost as if that's what he like. You have advancements in technology. Like stop it. We don't
No,
watch
man, that's the other thing
we
too.
don't watch movies just we don't watch movies and be stuck in animatronics. Could you imagine if Terminator 2 was still using animatronics? You know what I'm saying? Like the
No,
first
man.
movie, like it just wouldn't have the same impact. Like I don't like that disingenuous nature of what he's doing. I don't like that. But go on. We only got like a minute.
Yeah, it's gonna be quick. Yeah, I just kind of wanted to touch on what you said, because that's another thing too. The fact that we have new technology, like with the PS5 and what they're trying to do with it and the DualSense and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like that type of shit's not cheap, man. Trying to
He's saying you don't. He's
you know,
saying that you don't need it. That's the difference. You don't need to have it like that. You know what I'm saying? Like you can still make a decent game. And I'm like, yo, hey, Jaffe,
I
shut the fuck up,
you know
please.
I don't know, man. I kind of get where he's coming from, but I don't agree with it. You know what I'm saying? Like I understand it, but I don't agree with it.
why do you get where he's coming from? You can't just say that loaded ass comment.
I mean, because at the end of the day, man, like having things like haptic feedback in the controller and all that stuff, right? It's awesome and it's cool and it makes for a really, really cool experience, right? Um, but at the same time, that doesn't necessarily make the game. You know what I'm saying? Like for example, like with Control, you know, we were just talking about it a few minutes ago. Like I didn't play Control with the PS5. I didn't have any of that shit, but the game was still awesome in my opinion. Now, those features make it even better, and it makes it a different type of experience. But I get it, like you don't necessarily need it, you know what I'm saying?
Snakes, what's
But
going
I don't
on?
agree with it.
Entertainment. Okay, Respawn is coming out with a mobile game which probably isn't going to be played as much as it is on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. It's not. Maybe it is.
Yeah,
Maybe it is. But every platform, I'll put it that way, every single platform has its own fucking demographic. I don't mind mobile games; some of them
appeal.
are
Yeah,
fun, but I'm not gonna buy.
yeah,
I'm not gonna buy a $500 console to play an isometric game. I'm not. That's not what I. That's
yeah,
not what I.
yeah. That's the
Why do I have
same shit.
haptic feedback? Why do I have any of that? That doesn't make any sense to me. It's
Yeah,
fine that you don't. It's
see,
fine.
that's what I'm saying.
It's fine that he doesn't like big games anymore, and he's getting older, and I get it. And listen, I'm 36. Time is one of the most valuable currencies in my life right now. As you get older, you don't want no one or nothing wasting your time. I get it. You know what I mean? But don't put that on other people. It's not that.
Yeah,
See,
man.
some people want to play lighthearted games, and other people want to just play one singular game and invest a lot of time in that singular game. But have that
Yeah,
singular game high quality, you know?
yeah, absolutely, man. And like I said, man, in my opinion, I kind of understand it, but I don't agree with it at all because, at the end of the day, um, the reason why we buy these consoles, man, is to have a new experience. And it's been like that with every fucking new console, man. You know, and it's just that Sony, they decided to venture into like different territories when it comes to like experimenting with different experiences. You know what I'm saying? Like with the haptics and the controller, all that stuff, right? The adaptive triggers and trying to revamp their 3D audio, which sounds amazing, by the way. You know what I'm saying? As well as um, the actual games themselves. Like they're trying to bring their games to like the next level. So all of that meshed together creates like a really cool, sort of like unique experience, man, that you can't really find anywhere else, man. And that's, in my opinion, why I think why we buy these new consoles. You know,
All right,
so
all right. So we want to move on to the last topic, so we keep on time. Nigga, you talking about something? I can do 30 minutes because I don't want to do 30. It may be too much, and you'd be the main nigga talking. Damn it! No, I don't blame you though. This shit was fucking lit. I'm trying to be better. You know, I'm
Yeah,
trying to be
definitely.
better with my time here and not waste people time and not talk too fucking much. So we're gonna try to keep this at 30 minutes. If it goes a
Yeah,
little
I'm
bit
good, man.
over,
Go ahead.
we only got like 5 minutes, 7 minutes left. Rather, state of play.
Yeah, go ahead.
State of fucking play. This is the reason why we pay $70. This is the reason why we buy a $500 console. Ratchet and Clank looks so good that my brain can't comprehend that as being a game. It's like I'm not impressed with it because my brain keeps thinking it's a CGI. The only way I'm going to be impressed with it, I know logically and intelligently, I can think and say that Insomniac stated that this is their game. But my brain, it's like some part of my brain is like not CGI. It doesn't make sense. And to know that you have a 60 frames per second mode as well. Like I've seen a lot of little things in there too. What's her name? Rivet. There was a scene where she was in a desert area and they had global illumination where the light rays from the sun was bouncing off of the sun baked rocks and you could see that light under her chin. Also, and then reflections on Clank and the ground and water. Bitch, we talk about cyberpunk graphics. Like, what we doing here? They did what Cyberpunk. They did what CD Projekt Red couldn't do in like 8 years.
Dumb.
Motherfuckers are juggling PS3, or sorry, PS4, PS5 games, and somehow they were able to do that. I get it's linear. I get it. 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 But the sheer detail, and I know that people is gonna be saying, "Well, they didn't have to worry about last generation console." Well, nigga, who fault is that? That's your fault. You shouldn't have been shackled to the shit. But some of the shit, and I know when I was looking at the trailer, I was watching the trailer, they were trying to dig into that cyberpunk shit. They were making fun of that shit low key. There was a club scene where they had like cyberpunk esque music, and you had all the robots dancing. I was like, "Oh, they're petty. They're petty. They're petty. They're petty." I'm like, "Why you do that?" I mean, yeah, it was mostly Ratchet and Clank. This is, and you know what too? I'm a dip a little bit in Returnal. Returnal and Ratchet and Clank is going to prove that the Game Pass model does not work. Because motherfuckers are going to be going out and purchasing that shit, flat out. What's your take on this, Ken? The dishonorable.
I love that name.
Shut up.
Um, you know what, man? I was at work today, man, so I only caught glimpses of the state of play, unfortunately. So I haven't had a chance to watch the full trailer just yet. Um, but from what I saw of it and the screenshots that I was seeing people post online, like I actually can't believe like how detailed the game looks. You know what I mean? Like I saw a scene, like somebody posted something on Twitter, and it was just a scene of, I think it was Ratchet, if I remember correctly. He was walking into like he was walking, and you saw like the vista of the city, and all of the freaking detail in the city, the cars moving around and all that shit. I was like, damn, dude, I have not seen anything like this before, man. You know, and just I don't know, man. The graphics themselves and everything, man. Like I was watching parts of it after I had gotten off of work, um, and I'm just looking at this game like, dude, what the fuck? This shit looks so good, man. Like I don't even understand. You know what I'm saying?
I'm trying
And
to figure out what Sony is feeding these developers. That's what I want to know.
I don't know, man. Like it's just that shit looks good as fuck, man. You know, and honestly, I think that's just scratching the surface, man. You know, I think there's a lot to the game we really don't even know, like what they're trying to do. You know what I'm saying? Um, so I'm really looking forward to playing it, man. I can't wait. It looks really, really good, man. And yeah, I agree, man. Like those are the type of games and experiences that you buy these consoles for. You know what I'm saying? And I don't feel bad about it. Like I don't feel bad about spending the money to get it because I feel like it's worth it. you know, and I feel like most people probably do as well. So
That's because it is worth it. You know what I mean? That's
yeah,
because it
like
is
that's what
worth
we
it.
want.
It's. I'm sorry. I'm just. If you see me looking down here, I apologize. I'm making a thumbnail for this shit. Um, but yeah, man, this is the reason why people are like, now I can get on board with that bullshit because like that's the shit. That's the shit. I wanted it that way, And I don't
Yeah,
blame you.
man.
You better not blame nobody else. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad. I'm glad all this shit came to play. This is what we needed. This is exactly what we needed. Thank you so much
Hell yeah,
for
man.
dropping by during this short, light podcast. I really, really appreciate it. I just wanted to kind of touch base with you guys and give you some findings. I wanted to see how you guys would feel about it and how you feel about the state of play and all that other stuff. Really, really cool stuff. I can't wait to talk to you guys on Saturday. Saturday is going to be lit. You know me, I like to not talk about the gaming news, but more so the gaming industry when I do my No Filter podcast. Ken, the Dishonorable, thank you so much for joining me today on this 30-minute light podcast. Peace out, guys. I'm going to enjoy some
Yeah,
Returnal.
man.
And y'all asses better be playing that shit too if you got a PS5. Get your ass on that PlayStation now or a PlayStation store and buy that shit. Stop playing.